Hello, hello, hello. It is Samantha here of Autumn Fox and Rabbit Crafts. How are you doing? Today I have a script, so hopefully I won't ramble too much. And I have a mini haul, and I have some interesting news. And yeah, so happy December and very happy autumn, very nearly winter to you all. I can be found on Instagram as Autumn Fox Rabbit Crafts. Facebook as Autumn Fox and Rabbit Crafts, and Ravelry as Autumn F and R Crafts. And everything and anything I mention, talk about, or think of, I will put in the description box below. So I'm going to start off with a quote from my favourite book. I've read this, reread this, I've got it on Audible, I've been listening to it on Audible, I've got numerous pages turned down because it's one of my favourite books. It's by Stephanie Paul McPhee. I recognise that knitting can improve my mood in trying circumstances, which is very true. So yes, it's from the Meditations for Women Who Knit Too Much, which I think is kind of perfect for me at the time because I was doing a lot of knitting, and I think anyone who knits a lot can probably benefit from the book because it's very, very good. So I've got my favourite cup and a cup of tea, so yeah. Fancy a brew and a chat? I can wait till you get one. Cool. Now, I have been watching a lot of YouTube lately because it's Vlogmas, and a lot of them are doing Vlogmas, and I'm a little bit behind on what I'm watching. I'm doing my best. I've got a list on YouTube because I'm gonna get completely lost if I don't have the said list. So I've been watching Tales from Cuckoo Land, Gayner, who is, most of these are all British, except for the last couple. But these ones, like I said, mainly British. So you got Gayner from Tales from Cuckoo Land. She does knitting, she does sewing, baking and things like that, and she's just an all-round fun person to watch. Cherry Heart, who's Sandra, she has her own little craft room. It's really pretty, and these particular ones are doing Vlogmas. So there are some that aren't doing Vlogmas, so I'll let you know which ones they are. But most of them are doing a Vlogmas. Little Bobbin Knits. She's not uploading as many videos as she used to because she's quite busy. She's not doing Vlogmas either this year, I don't think. She's not put any Vlogmas videos out. She has done it in the past, but it's lovely to watch her videos, and her knitting is, oh, it's very lovely. I love seeing what she's knitted. She knits obviously lots of socks and jumpers and things, and she's very talented. And then there's Stitched by Mrs. D, who's Paula, who is absolutely a lot of fun to watch. She's got three cats called Pam, Ian and Doug. She's got two guinea pigs called Patsy and Lovely, and she's got a lovely little dog called Lily, and she's beautiful. And so they feature quite a lot in her videos. This Wonderful Life, who is Ali, she knows Paula, and I think she might know Gayner as well. And she does lots of travel things and knitting things. I think she's been doing some crochet lately as well. She's also doing Vlogmas, as is Stitched by Mrs. D. Hawthorn Cottage Craft, who I've just started watching, and Kate, who's based in Northern Ireland, she's also doing Vlogmas, and it's really lovely to see what she knits as well. Who else? Excuse me. Try not to do that too much. And then there's sewing, which is Emma Jones Vintage Sewing Box. She's not doing Vlogmas. She does things like quilting, a lot of quilting and quilt projects, and she loves to use Liberty fabrics. And the knitters there's one from Australia who is Muddy Boots Maker, that's Amy, and she's also doing Vlogmas, and oh, it's just her garden and what she bakes and what she cooks and what she knits is amazing. And then there's Plies and Hellhounds, who is Gabi. She's also doing Vlogmas. So I've been watching a lot of them, and I've also been watching Jana of Finnish Knitting Stories, I think. But I've got a big list on YouTube of all the Vlogmas people I've been watching. Also, I've been watching Craft House Magic, Ellie, who is based in think it's Norfolk. Again, she's doing Vlogmas. She does all her own dyed wool and things, and she's got a shop where she sells it. She sells lots of other things. I've got something of hers actually I purchased a while ago, which I'll show you. I have behind me something that I made I wanted to share. I've got a few things I made before my arm went completely. This is the first project bag I made, and I don't mind saying myself it's awful, and I know exactly where I went wrong, which is why the second bag was much better. But this, I had a load, I've got quite a bit of fabric stashed away in a drawer upstairs, and this was supposed to be, I think, a shirt, but most of the fabric I lost the patterns for, so I just recycled the fabric. And this one I even lined, but I didn't line it properly, because the way I did it was I made the bag and then I put it in the lining inside the bag, and then I sewed it all together, and then I made a total and utter mess of the lining inside. And yeah, so it's got a front pocket which is about as much use as a chocolate fire guard. It doesn't really do very much, and it does close. That's the one good thing about it. My rather large shawl that I'm knitting, which is a bit heavy for me at the moment, was in this, so it does work. It's just not very good. And then I think the second bag I made was this one, I think. But this one came out much better. No, it was this one. I know it was this one because the closure's not so good. It's actually got that big the really big shawl in it that I've been knitting that I've not been able to continue with just yet. But this one, I got this fabric off a shop on Etsy. I can't remember the name of the shop. I'll put it below in the description box. So this was the second one I made. I lined this and I actually did it properly. I even learnt to do those square corners. I absolutely love. I've always wanted to know how to do it, and I found a really good tutorial online. I think it was actually a website. I don't know which one I used. There's loads and loads of them. So if you're not very good on those square corners, there's all sorts of resources. YouTube, the web, the internet, and even Kirsty's Handmade Christmas, which I'll get to. But yes, this was the second one. This is kind of like Pemberley fabric. I was watching Emma Jones' Vintage Sewing Box, and she made a Pride and Prejudice pocket type thing, like fabric from Pride and Prejudice fabric. And I wanted some and I couldn't find any because there was none in stock. So I found this on Etsy, this beautiful fabric. So I ended up making the project bag out of this. And I did the channels for the top of it. It does kind of work, but it's sewn together here and it's not completely perfect. I need to get something to do a proper closure, and I think then I'll be very happy with the bag. But I even managed to sew in the ditch and sewed around it as well, and I made quite a professional bag for me. I'm not very good at sewing clothes. In fact, I am rubbish at following patterns for clothes, but accessories I can make. And I absolutely loved making these. In fact, I made 3 in the same day. This one, and my favourite one, which is this one. This is with fabric I got for my birthday. And I bought this fabric because I wanted to make, I think it was a hat. And I never did finish the hat project, which is not a surprise. And the lining fabric I also got to make the hat, which I didn't make. But again, I managed to sew in the ditch, and I sewed around here to make sure it was all nice and flat, and I made channels again. This one works really well, and it's got proper closing, and I love this one. This was the third one I made, like I said. So this is kind of like the evolution of my project bags. But this is the best one that I made, and they're quite big as well. They hold quite a lot. I have been using these, as you can see. And also I need to show you what I got for a very belated birthday. I think I mentioned this on a very quick video I made a few weeks back. Did I? Maybe not. I don't know. I don't think I did. This is like the second video, the second podcast, because the first one I made, was it last week? I mentioned in the very quick video I made, I think it was last week, it wouldn't upload. So this is attempt number 2. But this was from my friend Claire of the Makerist UK. It's quite big. I didn't realise how big this was. But she makes all the lettering and things to go on things like project bags and cups and glasses and all sorts of things. And I'll put a link to her Instagram below. But this one has, I may have shown this rather quick, but I started the Bing Pot beanie. This is as far as I've got with the Bing Pot beanie. Not very far at all. I've been too tired to do any knitting because we've been really busy sorting the spare room out and things. So I've not really done a lot. But it holds a heck of a lot. This is what I've got in it. It's like my rucksack, but with knitting. And it's stand up as well. I would show you, but I haven't got anything to put it on. And it might do something doolally to my computer. But yeah, it's got a really good bottom to it. It's really thick, it's really big, and I absolutely am in love with this. As soon as I opened it, I kind of shrieked the place down, and I love this. And she'd been waiting and waiting until I was able to start knitting again to actually give me this. So I got this in November, which is kind of usual for us. We kind of, when we swap presents and things, it's usually a good few months after the actual date. So that's what I got from her for my very belated birthday. And it's got a really good zip on it. And it's very thick. It's like a canvas. It's fab. And I'm in love with that. So that's what I got for my belated birthday, which I love. So, and also I found a load of fabric as well. I ordered this, or I bought this absolutely ages ago to make, it was part of a kit, but without the pattern. And it was to make a bra. And I bought the fabric about nearly 2 years ago, and I've never used it. And then I found it, so I'm going to make myself one at some point, says the person who sucks at making clothes. But I'm going to have a bash at it and see how badly I do. I can always shout for my friend to bail me out if anything goes completely wrong. So yeah, I have some sewing and knitting projects that I want to do. I would like to knit my first pair of socks. I've been wanting to do it for absolutely ages. And I like to watch Nimble Needles, who is Norman. He is absolutely lovely, and his tutorials are absolutely fantastic if you're a basic knitter. They're always really well explained, and he shows everything from beginning to end. And he's got a sock pattern you can purchase, and then if you watch the video, he will take you all the way through the very beginning to the very end to you finishing the sock. And I'm hoping to knit a pair of socks with Norman's help. I want to knit a shawl. I've left the wool upstairs, but oh, actually no, because I'm going to knit the hat with that now. In my wool stash, which I shared on Instagram, and if I can find the photograph, I'll put it here somewhere. And I may have shared the wool in the last video, which is like a really quick one, an update one. But in my stash, I've got 2 shawl wool cakes type things, and so I've decided I'm going to get one of, or both of them out at some point and knit a shawl with them, because it's one big ball makes one full shawl. So yeah, that's one thing I'd like to do. And it's lighter wool as well, so it means I'll be able to knit for longer with it. I have bought some beautiful fabric And the thing is, it's really pretty for what it's going to be used for. I went on Etsy last week and I came up with an idea. There's a family member who uses handkerchiefs, and I've decided to make some. And I got this chicken fabric. My daughter picked the fabric because she's going to be giving the present. So I got in 3 different colours, and I even got matching threads kind of to go with them. One of the threads I'm not so sure, but these are so very pretty. It seems a shame to make handkerchiefs out of them. So that's one thing I'm going to be probably making this week, because I don't think they'll take me a huge amount of time. Literally, it's just folding, ironing them, and then sewing along where I folded, I think. I've never made handkerchiefs before, but I aim to make like a label to go around them as well, so they look like they've actually been bought, not just kind of sewn and then thrown at the person. I am going to keep knitting on. I need to start the beekeeper's quilt again. I've put it down, picked it up, and put it down, picked it up so many times, and I have quite a stash of wool. And I did get some wool to make something completely different with, but I actually think I might use it to make the beekeeper's quilt. I can't remember how many hexapuffs I'm going to need. I know it's quite a few. I think I've got the pattern in here. But I have this obsession with wanting to make it. I actually thought about making them in fabric, actually, which might be an interesting thing, because it's hexapuffs, but I wouldn't actually fill them, not the knitted ones anyway. I'd probably fill the fabric ones if I do make it from fabric, and then sew them all together. And apparently, looking at this pattern, because this is quite an old print out of the pattern now, it does tell you, for a 2 by 2 foot perm quilt you need 102. For a 2 by 3 foot quilt you'd need 167, and for a 3 foot by 4 foot quilt I'd need 384. That's a lot of knitted hexapuffs. That should keep me out of trouble for a while. So I want to get back onto the hexapuff knitting. I'm going to put that somewhere else. And then I've got Luna Lapam. If you've ever heard of Luna Lapam, if you've not, it's a rabbit. It's a very, very cute rabbit. I bought the book. I bought the book about maybe 2 years ago now, and I know this because for Christmas, my friend Claire of the Maker, I think it's the Makerist UK. I forgot to type it onto my script. It's on the other one. I don't know where the first one's gone. But yeah, she's called Luna Lapam. She's a bunny who's very stylish. And for Christmas one year, my friend Claire made a kit for me. She gave me all the fabric, and because I've got the book, she literally just gave me the fabric so that I need to cut it out, sew it all together, and I've got a rabbit. So I texted her a few weeks back and I said, look what I found. And she's like, you really need to make it. And I was like, I know, I've not had a chance. So yeah, I need to carry on with that. Put that out of the way. I need to continue with a quilt pattern I got from Etsy. It's called the Flower Hexagon Quilt, I think. I will share a picture of it somewhere here. It's a beautiful quilt, and I found the actual pieces. I put a photograph of them on Instagram. So I was looking everywhere for it. I thought it was in a box, and it turns out it wasn't a box, but in my room with a load of things on top of it. It's all together, all the hexagons are together and everything, and I'd already started sewing some of them together to make the flower. before my arm went. And I'm hoping I might be able to get back to that kind of like next year, in the new year. And I am looking forward to actually making that, because it's a really lovely pattern. It's very simple. It's literally just coloured hexagons with a lot of white hexagons around, and then you obviously you quilt it. So that's quite a pretty and a mindful kind of relaxing project, because you can kind of sew them together whilst you sat watching TV, which is what I started doing when I started sewing them all together. I bought this when I was pregnant somewhere. I may have lost the book. I had a book which it's here. When I was first pregnant with my daughter, I wanted to knit a load of stuff, and unfortunately when you've got a chronic illness and you're pregnant, those things don't always work out. And so I'd bought this book, and when I was looking through it, there was a pattern for slippers, one pair for little one and a pair for mum. And these are the slippers. So I want to knit myself a pair and my daughter a pair at some point. Probably by the time I knit them, she'll be an adult. Or she'll be tall enough that they'll be adult sized, because she's already kind of up to there on me. She's quite tall. So that's a pair of slippers I'd like to make. And then one day I became obsessed with this jumper because there's quite a lot of YouTubers, knitting YouTubers, who've made this. One of them is Mandy Bootsmaker, who's based, like I said, in Australia. I hope I said that. And Plies and Hellhounds, by the way, is based in America. I don't think I actually said that, but yeah. Muddy Bootsmaker had knitted this, and I fell in love with the jumper. I have no idea how to knit it, but I bought the pattern off Ravelry, and if I can find a picture I will share it. It's called The Branches and Buds Pullover by Carrie Bostick Hogue, or Hodge, Hoger. I've probably butchered that name, but you can get the pattern on Ravelry. It's a beautiful pattern, and I really, really want to knit that. And from that, I think it's intarsia, not Fair Isle, but I'd like to learn intarsia, crochet and Fair Isle in the new year, because they're three things that I would really like to do. I can't do any of them, and there's something I'd really like to learn. And also mosaic knitting. Now, if I'm right, the Bing Pot beanie is mosaic. I'll see if I can find that. I've got the pattern somewhere. It's here. A bit folded. But yeah, this is by Jacki Badger of the Woolly Badger, and it's called the Bing Pot beanie. I think I've shared this in the last video, the quick one I made, an update one on. But yeah, I think this is actually mosaic knitting. I could be wrong, but there's a shawl which is this one. I forgot who knitted it, but that's mosaic knitting. You can't really see it, so I will find an actual picture of this one and put it on the screen so you can see it better. And yeah, I'd really, 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 really like to knit the shawl. I do know Casey of Young Folk Knits has knitted it. I'm pretty sure she's knitted it. And you can actually buy the whole wool as a set. And you obviously need to buy the pattern. I think I might have the pattern. I think I bought it on Ravelry. And so I've already got that, and I just need to get the wool for it. And I want to go to the Buxton Wool Gathering, because there is a person who's going to be there, I've seen online, and I want to get the wool from their shop because it's absolutely beautiful. I've already kind of picked it out a little bit. If I could remember who it was as well, that would be very helpful. But I know Ducky Darling's going to be there as well, which is someone who Ellie from Craft House Magic buys quite a lot of her wool from. She's mentioned them a lot in the past in her podcasts. So yeah, I'm hoping to go to the Buxton Gathering in the new year. I think it's March it's on. I'd have to double check that. And I've also just shared some of my favourite books with you. So I've got another favourite book, which for me, this is more of a, it's beautiful and I'm going to look at the book a lot because they're very intricate, but this is a Japanese quilting book. It's all in Japanese, but the one thing about the books, whether you can speak Japanese or not, if you can quilt and you can sew, the patterns are very, very detailed. So you don't really need to be able to read it, you just need to look at the picture instructions. And it comes with a pattern that is printed on 2 sides. I won't get it out because it's huge, but it's like their clothing patterns. It's printed on both sides, so you have to actually trace all of the pattern pieces. That's the only thing about the Japanese pattern books, but they are absolutely stunning, and they're some of my favourite books. Also, I have this book, which I bought on recommendation from Emma Jones' Vintage Sewing Box, and it's English Paper Piecing, Flossy Tea Cake's Guide to English Paper Piecing by Florence Knapp. And it's an absolutely beautiful book, and it goes into how to do fussy cutting and applique and EPP, which is English paper piecing, and it gives you step-by-step instructions on how to do all sorts of different quilting things. It tells you what you need for quilting. It goes through everything. It's a how-to book, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And there's some beautiful quilts that you can kind of make as well from the book. So yeah, they're just beautiful. I think that's actually, I'm pretty sure that that's Liberty fabric as well, which I would absolutely love some Liberty fabric. Liberty and Tilda are my 2 favourite fabrics, I think, for quilting. So yeah, they're some of my favourite books. I have a haul. I was on Amazon and I spotted this book. Oh, I found it by accident. I was looking for something completely different. I was putting my Christmas list together for my husband, and I found this book. It's called Quilt Treasures, The Quilter's Guide, Guild Heritage Search. Which is a weird title, but yeah, it's a beautiful book. It's an old one. I got this, like I said, from Amazon. And look at some of the quilts that I made. Because at some point, hopefully in the new year, I want to start work on a very specific quilt. I want to make something called the Peterloo Massacre quilt, which is something that happened in 1819 in Manchester, which is not far from where I live. And I have been obsessing about making this quilt for quite a while now, and I know the fabric I'm going to be using. I'm going to be buying it from Style Mill in Cheshire. They've got fat quarters made at the mill and also meters of fabric that the mill also still makes. And it would be quite fitting because a lot of the people who attended the meeting that ended in the skirmish and the violence actually would have worked at Style Mill most probably. And I wanted this because it's a book on very old historical quilts, and some of them are absolutely beautiful. And I wanted to get a bit of inspiration to see what quilts were made kind of like the early 1900s the early 19th century, yeah, 1800s, 19th century. So yeah, that's what I would really like. So I bought that book. It only cost me about £4 something, including postage. It didn't cost me a lot. Also, I bought, to eventually carry on with my my shawl, I bought some new cables. I'm not a big fan of the interchangeable Knit Pro. I like my, I think it's Zinger knitting needles, fixed circular needles. But as I've been knitting it on interchangeables, and I couldn't find the fixed ones big enough, I figured I'd just get the new cable. I also treated myself to some sewing machine needles, and I got these off Amazon, but usually you get like a pack of like 6. These were a pack of 10. I got 2 packets, and these are the universal ones because it's just for when I sew the handkerchiefs. And also to help when I sew the handkerchiefs, I needed some of these because my daughter played with my original lot and I've lost them all. I don't know where they are. I think I just basically threw them away because they're on the floor and they're in the way, and I just threw them away or lost them, or they're on other projects as well. So I got them from Amazon as well. I do want more. I just needed a few for the projects that I'm doing at the moment. And then I bought matching threads, kind of. So here's the threads. Obviously that one is completely the wrong colour. It's like an emerald green, and it doesn't go with the blue fabric at all. That's the colour I actually needed. So, and that's for what I'm about to show you in a minute. But I will, excuse me, that's the fabric. That's what I originally, whoops, trust me, I've lost it now. Oh, that's just typical. The green was the original one, but that's the one I actually needed. It's a slate blue. Actually, I've lost the thread. Oh dear me. So yeah, that's what I. Oh, and also this one is for a very special project I've got. I'm going to make my daughter a Christmas stocking. I'm going to be making her. I did show this in the last video when I unboxed the Daphne's diary, but it wasn't a very good quality, to be honest, the video. So this is the fabric I bought from Etsy, from Lulu's Craft Shop UK. I could be wrong on that title. I'll share the shop again. And it's just the bunnies. They're just so cute. So I'm going to make her a book cushion. So that's for the inside pocket that goes on the front. That's for the main fabric for the main cushion, which I still need to buy an actual cushion. I forgot to do that. But also I'm going to make her, this was from the Fabric Squirrel, and I got this. I don't usually like Christmas fabric, but this was really, really unusual, and I just couldn't resist this one. It's the actual fabric itself is from the Craft Cotton Company, and it's dogs and cats at Christmas. I thought this would make a really, really sweet Christmas stocking she could keep for a long time and maybe even pass down if it came to it. But what sold it for me is this cutie, this dog here, Dalmatian. It's beautiful, and it wasn't very expensive either. This is a metre. I think I got a metre of it, so I'm going to have some left over as well. So I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I might make a Christmas project bag or a little notions pouch. I'm not sure yet. But for the lining, I got red, because obviously it's Christmas and I wanted a nice plain one. And also, if there's any of this left, I've got red fabric for something else. And also, yeah, I was right. Claire's Instagram shop type thing is the Makerist UK. I was right. I've still got this to finish. I will insert a photograph of it completely open because it's really, really big. But I have been for a few years making a quilt for my daughter. This was meant to be for her 2nd birthday and she's now 8. So it's been a long time in the making. So I need to go to Lyons in Chorlton to get some fabric to go around the outside to make a border. And also I might buy, this might be controversial, but I might buy some binding. I might buy some binding because I think it'd be a lot easier for me to buy it rather than make it, because it's called being sensible. I follow someone called Retro Claude here on YouTube. She's also got a chronic illness, and I have learnt, although I didn't put it all into practice, but she did a video on how to sew when you've got chronic illness. And yeah, it's all about really being smart and knowing when to use your energy and when to use the shortcut, which I don't mind doing, because as long as it's cotton, because obviously this is 100% cotton, and also I've got this beautiful, I've got 3 of these I think to sew on, so these are to be appliqued on. I don't know whether I'm going to sew them by hand or by machine. It might be easier to do it by hand, but I've got, I think, 3, maybe 4 of these, so I need to get on with this, and I actually can't wait to finish it and for it to go on her bed, because when she's in her new room, I think it's going to go really well, hopefully. So yeah, yeah, it's Lulu's Craft Shop, which is where I got the rabbit long meter, I think it is, from. I'll have to double check exactly what I bought because I can't remember. I know it's fabric. And the reels of cotton thread I got from Jacki, because they're only £1.79 at Jacki for 100-meter reel. Hobbycraft wanted, I think it was £3 something. Amazon wanted £2.50. So I went with Jacki. And also, if you spend over £25 on Jacki, you get a free delivery, and I'm going to need a lot more thread. But this is the thread that I got to finish sewing the quilt, because it's woodland themed. When I sew in the ditch to quilt it, I want it to be in brown, and because I think it would go really well with all the colours. It'll pull the colours out really well as well. The cotton batting, I got some cotton batting from Amazon to make the Christmas stocking with. I only got like so much by so much. It's not a huge amount. But yeah, that I am hoping to make this week at some point. And obviously you saw the Daphne's Diary haul and the unboxing of the video. Today I got, what did I get today? Christmas decorations for the Christmas tree, and it's a little, I should have brought it over, it's a little mice kissing under the mistletoe. It's ever so adorable. What I'll do is I'll take a photo and I will share it here, and also the one from yesterday, which was some sort of garland type thing, I think. I can't actually remember, but it was very, very sweet. There are places I'd like to visit. The places I want to visit, I've already mentioned one of them, which is the Buxton Wool Gathering. I should have gone last year, but I was ill, so we didn't get there last year. So hopefully, well, this year, sorry. So next year, hopefully we'll get to it. In fact, it was actually rearranged because it snowed. And because it's in the Peak District, they didn't want to have to drag everyone over and you know, people get snowed in and things, so they had to rearrange it. I think I can't remember how much. I think the tickets are full price £6, concessions £5, and children under 16, I think it is, go free. I will share a link with that. A link to that. I also would like to go to the Harrogate Quilt Show this next year. I really want to go to Birmingham. I've been to Birmingham once, and I went when I had no money, so it was a little bit. I won tickets, and it cost us a load to travel there. And also, but this year they actually charge for parking as well. Next year rather, they did for this year, so it's the same for next year. But it's just getting there and finding the energy to kind of walk around and things, and it is pretty big. Whereas Harrogate, it's a bit more compact and it's quieter as well. And I want to go. I really, really, really. I've been wanting to go for like 20 years. I want to go to Yarndale. I was gonna go this year, but A, I had no money, and B, I've been dealing with a lot of fatigue and pain, so I wouldn't have been able to go. And even if I did go, I would not have enjoyed myself. So yeah, I want to go to Yarndale next year, and I will have a list, and hopefully I'll take you with me as well. I think I might be able to find the confidence to film that one. I'm not very confident at filming whilst I'm out and about, which is why when I go on trips I never film. I take photos, but I don't always film. And also it's not easy walking with a rollator holding a camera, or being on a scooter and holding a camera. It's a bit difficult. So yeah, hopefully, because also apparently it seems quite compact and easy to walk around, and there's lots of seats and things, so that'll be quite good. So that's where I'd like to visit anyway. I have some things I want to do for my daughter's new room. One of them is finish her quilt. I want to make her floor cushions and bed cushions, because she wants to be able to sit down. She wants like a TP as well. So I don't know if I'm going to see if my friend might make that for me if I ask her really, really nicely, or I might buy that, because I'm not going to be able to make that myself. But she wants somewhere to sit and read books because she's quite a reader. She loves reading. And also, when we get her a new bookcase, I want to cover the shelves in Fablon so they look pretty. And also, she's got a unique bookcase because it's going to be kind of boring otherwise, and it's going to be like every other bookcase. So that's what I want to do when my husband's put it up, is cover the shelves in Fablon. And then I'm hoping to make a weekly vlog series to do with doing things in the room. I asked my husband, and he was very kind to say yes, that I could film him doing painting and things in the room. My brother-in-law's coming over to help with that on Friday, actually. We still need to spray the room with some membrane stuff. We've done the filling of the holes, and my husband's filled the skirting board mess as much as he could, because there's still a little bit that needs to be done, and we need to fix the skirting board at the other end. And he did a very good job under my supervision. Bless him. He had to put up with me, and I've got OCD, so yeah. But no, he filled it all really well. So yeah, that's what I'm hoping to do in the coming weeks. And then obviously when we've done her room, it will be on to doing the studio up. I've got a few ideas for that, and got a few shopping trips I'd like to do for that as well. Possibly IKEA, I don't know yet. Although saying that, I found similar cabinets that I found in IKEA, I found on Amazon, and I think I might order them from there because they're a heck of a lot cheaper. I found this really nice glass fronted cabinet with drawers, and it was like 300 and something pounds from IKEA. At Argos, it's not Argos, Amazon, it's about 160 something. So there's a big difference. And also, to get in the Christmas spirit, I've been watching Kirsty's Handmade Christmas. It's from the series last year, but I don't remember it. So I've been watching last year's series, and then I have this year's new episode on record, which I've not watched yet. As far as I know, I think it's only one episode. I don't know. So it's a shame if it's only one episode, because it's the one thing I definitely look forward to every year, is watching Kirsty's Handmade Christmas. And I've got a few other knitting projects at once. My arm seems to be a lot better today. It's up and down with it. So if I can do some knitting, I need to go to Knitters in Romley and get some more wool for. I think I've got the buckets upstairs in a box somewhere. I will share it here somewhere above me, next to me or something. It's called Sew to Bed, I think it's called. It's actually a knitting patterns for much younger children, and I did get it originally for knitting things for my daughter. But then when I actually finally got around to knitting things, she's too old for everything in there except maybe the hot water bottle cozy and like the teddies in there. But there's a blanket that I have been obsessing about for literally probably about 20 years when I originally got the book. And I went to Knitters in Romley and they were fantastic. They suggested Starcraft. I looked everywhere. I looked on Black Sheep Wools, I looked on Wool Warehouse, I looked on Laughing Hens, and I couldn't find any wool that I really liked. I didn't want any proper 100% wool because it's a big quilt and it's a pain to block. And so I wanted something that was easy to wash and things and easy to keep. So I got Starcraft acrylic, Supreme acrylic. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's all in all together in packages in my stash, ready to start knitting the blanket again. And it's all in Tarsha, which is why I want to learn in Tarsha, because I've never done it before, and this will be the first thing I've ever done in Tarsha. And it's got birds on it, and I think it's got a tree on it. I can't quite remember. It's really, really pretty. And I got this other book as well, and I can't remember the name of it. If I can find it in my Amazon buys, because I did get it from Amazon, I treated myself to it. It's a very unusual book, and it's not the sort of thing that I usually like in knitting style, but I thought if I can learn to knit those things in the book, I can't wait to knit the book. I can't wait to knit the projects in the book. So and it's Knit Your Own Story quilt, and I will share a picture of that, and a link to any of books I've mentioned. I will put a link in. I do know you could probably get them cheaper on World of Books, I will be honest. So yeah, they're the two main books that I really want to knit from in the new year as well, if I can. They are projects that will really keep me out of trouble and behaving, because I have to sit down and put a nice film on and knit. But today I'm hoping to make the handkerchiefs, and I need to wash the fabric. I don't always. If I'm quilting, I don't bother, but if I'm making something quite large, like a book cushion, I tend to wash the fabric before I use it. That way, if she spills anything on it, or it gets thrown across the room and it ends up somewhere a bit and gets stood on or whatever, and it needs washing, it's not going to shrink and then get ruined. So I figured I'd wash it first and then make the cushion, the book cushion with it. And I think I might wash the stocking fabric as well. There was a bit of an accident with milk last night, so I need to wash the batting, to be honest. But I have got a big roll of paper. I got it from IKEA. I can make the pattern pieces from that. And also for Christmas I've asked for Tilda books, because I want to have a go at making the dolls in it. I'd love to make the dolls so that I can give them to my little girl and she could put them in a room and collect them as I make them. So that would be, because I really like making rag dolls as well and things like that, decorations. And I can make them seasonally, so I can make spring, summer, and then we can put them up in the house. Anyway, I think I'm going to leave it there, because the editing suite that I use hates me and hates long videos, and it's been about 50 minutes, so I think I should leave it there for today. Like I said, I can be found on Instagram, Facebook and Ravelry. Also, I will put all links under in the description box, and yeah, that's about it really. I've shared everything that I can think of, and if there's anything else I can think of, I will share on Instagram. I tend to upload usually once a day during the week. Sometimes it could be a few days between uploads, depends if I've been busy or not. But yes, I hope you've enjoyed the podcast. By the way, I completely forgot to mention, if you're new here and you've made it this far, I'm Samantha of Autumn Fox and Rabbit Crafts. I forgot to say that at the beginning. And yeah, so I will see you all again next time. Stay warm, stay cozy, and I hope you have a lovely Wednesday. And I will see you all again very, very soon. I will take a photo and show you what I got in Daphne's diary in the advent calendar the last couple of days. They're very pretty. I will put them probably here and here, who knows. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you're new or old, thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. So I will say goodbye for now, and I'm going to go and get another cup of tea, and I might put a Christmas film or Kirsty's handmade Christmas actually. So I will see you all later on, and hopefully this video will upload, and I can't wait to show you obviously what I've shared in the video. Now I'm rambling, I'm going to go away. So thank you again for joining me for this chat and this share, and I will see you all very soon. Thanks very much for joining me. Again, stay warm, stay cozy, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye everyone.